we know that Iran is in excellent shape, currently top of Group A in World Cup qualifying, but there are still other things to talk about. Today's edition is all about the goalkeeper controversy between Amir Abedzadeh and Alireza بیرانوند. You know the deal, and you know what time it is. It's time for Team Melli Talk. Does Iran have a new number one keeper moving forward in World Cup qualification? Hey everyone, glad you're back for some more Team Melli Talk. We obviously have a few things to talk about, but first let's meet our guest. Joining us all the way from Berlin, Germany, Deutschland, we have Navid Taher.
Navid, great to have you on Team Melli Talk. How's it going, man?
Hello, and thanks for having me on the show. I'm good. How are you? I'm excited for the podcast.
All right, doing okay here. And our other guest, also joining us from a country in Europe, this time from Den Haag in Netherlands, or Nederland, we have Kiarash Mahdavi.
Kiarash, how's it going? It's great to have you on the show again, man.
Thank you, Ash, for having me on Team Melli Talk again. It's been a while. I just wanted to give credit for your good videos. I've been enjoying them. Also, nice to see you again, Navid. I think we all have been in a great spirit since our 2 wins. And I think there's plenty to talk about.
And before we get to the controversy in goal between Amir Abedzadeh and Alireza بیرانوند, it of course makes perfect sense for us to talk about head coach Dragan Skocic. And right now, despite Iran's victories recently over Lebanon and over Syria, there are a lot of Team Melli fans saying that Dragan Skocic doesn't have any good tactics for Team Melli.
So having said all that, do you agree with the critics that Dragan Skocic doesn't have any good tactics for Team Melli? Navid, we'll start with you first.
I agree in a way. Like, first of all, obviously the results are very good. Basically, the maximum we can get out of this group, almost won every game except that Korea game, which with a bit of more luck, we could have won as well. I think we had the post 2 or 3 times in the end. But I also agree with the critics. Like, as mentioned, the results are great, but they kind of cover up a bit the fact that the team doesn't play, in my opinion, to its full potential, looking at the great quality of the team, which has increased over the years. If you look at the fact that we have a lot of strong, amazing players in good leagues, like we have Azmu and Taremi, who are on the verge to world class. We have someone in Premier League, we have strong European goalkeepers. Just makes me think that there's more possible for this team, which has just a higher potential.
All right, Kiarash, your turn. What's your take on the issue involving Dragan Skocic? I mean, do you think Iran has tactics under Dragan Skocic?
To begin with the positives, just like Navid said, Skocic has been getting great results so far, and it's pretty hard to argue with the results. We are comfortably sitting on top of the table on the World Cup qualifying. But speaking of the World Cup, I still have big doubts about his sustainability beyond Asia and against better teams going forward. And he hasn't coached like any big teams, and he has no experience on world stage. While I do think he has done some very good things for TM, mainly getting us out of the mess Wilmots got us in, I still don't see his long-term plan. I don't think he will take us to bigger heights. So yeah, he's mostly relying on individual talents, on individual team effort, as we're probably the best center forward duo of Asia at the moment. So I do agree with both sides, but I think we should give him the benefit of the doubt because we now have momentum and we cannot afford any better coach because our federation is in financial issues. So yeah, it's hard to say that he's bad or good. It remains to be seen.
When I look back at the match against Syria, I mean, there was times where Iran was playing the long ball. I mean, Vahid Amiri's pass to Azmoun was just perfect. And yes, we did see Iran attacking from the flanks as well too. So I mean, are these examples of not having tactics? Is it just, do you think Dragan Skocic is just telling the guys, hey, let's just try some of these long balls sometimes. Let's just attack from the flanks and hope something
good happens. I mean, is this basically making a lot of sense to you? We'll stick with you on this one, Kiarash.
Not only the Syria game. If you look the other games, when you start from the defense like Hanoni and Chalil, most of the times they cannot connect with the midfield. So they just hoof the ball up to the center forwards, Asmon and Taremi. And when you look to the Syria game closer, it's even more prominent. And for Asian level, this might work because your opposition isn't very good. But when you go against bigger teams, these texts are very outdated and don't provide any plan B, like if it doesn't work, what are you going to do? Or crosses aren't that good either at the moment. Shahan Bash on the right has been very inconsistent. Golizade not up to it either. So I think it's hard to see this as tactics. Like it's just hoof the ball up front and hope for the best.
All right, Navid, now your turn.
The fact that there's, even though we only haven't really conceded many goals yet, is like defensive instability. There's a lot of turnovers caused by the center backs. There's not much control in midfield, although with the players and the qualities of those players we have, we should control the ball better. It's just, I mean, I don't always want to compare the Carlos Queiroz, but it's just like, it's hard to see that we control the game. And as Kia said, those right now are still like kind of weaker teams. How is it going to be once we face European teams? And that kind of gives me a little like headache if we can't control teams like Syria or the Emirates. How are we going to play against European opposition, which is obviously tactically and technically better than us? That's what gives me a little like headache. I think we like produce actually a lot of chances, but that's also probably given due to the fact that just our players that have such high quality that it just comes with it. Defensively, I'm still a bit like we're still a little shaky, I think, and yeah, that's I think the biggest minus, like negative aspect of Scocher's time. That it's just the results just cover that up. That we don't really dominate the game too much. It's just like a bit like blind attacking and then not too much good defending combined with just not with the lack of control and dominance.
Well, I definitely appreciate the insight from both of you guys, that's for sure. And of course, in looking back to previous editions of Team Melli Talk, there was a time where I, was caught up in the moment and I decided to say, hey, let's just wait for the final round to finish before making more judgments. So of course, from my point of view, that's where I'm going to stick with for the time being, involving Dragan Skocic. Everyone remembers the Eagle of Asia, Ahmadreza Abedzadeh, and recently his son Amir Abedzadeh got the start in goal for Iran in the 3-0 victory over Syria in World Cup qualifying. Now let's face it, let's not sugarcoat anything. There were some things that took place when Alireza بیرانوند played against Lebanon that caused Dragan Skocic to make a change at goal. So from here on out moving forward, who is your choice to be the #1 keeper for Iran? Amir Abedzadeh or Alireza بیرانوند?
Kiarash, let's start with you.
Well, as you guys know, I've been a big fan of Amir Abedzadeh since his Maritimo days, and I really like his drive and motivation to succeed and follow the footsteps of his father, coming from college soccer in the USA to Segunda Liga of Spain, where he has been starting and his team is in race for promotion to La Liga. Something pretty impressive and by no means easy achievement. Currently, I think he's in form and he deserves to start for Team Melli, especially now qualification is almost guaranteed. It's easier to experiment with goalkeepers. Meanwhile, بیرانوند needs to get the idea that he has some competition for the goalkeeping spot, because I have the impression that he's getting a bit nonchalant, and showed against Lebanon. He almost costed us the game. And he doesn't seem that focused to me, so maybe it's better to bench him so he can challenge himself again to become a better goalkeeper. But considering everything, at the end of the day, when both were in form, I would still go with بیرانوند because to me he seems like the better goalkeeper overall. Let's not forget he saved us plenty times. And even recently against the Korea game, he had a very important save, while Korea could have won that game with that shot. So we shouldn't discredit him, but I think it's good to bench him for a while.
Based on what Kiaras just said, a little bit of both. Wants to go with Alireza بیرانوند when he's in form, but at the moment, it's got to be Amir Abedzadeh. Navid, now it's your turn. What's your take? Who should be Iran's #1 keeper from here on out moving forward?
I'm going to still stick with بیرانوند for the remaining qualifiers. I think it was a good wake-up call for him to be benched against Syria. Amir played a very solid game, although he didn't have too much to save. He still showed himself just being very safe on the ball, very good control on the ball, which I think is very important in today's modern football, and he can definitely help the team with that. I think it was good to bench بیرانوند for the Syria game, just to, as Kier said, so everyone sees, hey, I'm not unconditional #1. I need to still perform, and competition is always good. It reminds a bit of the times when Germany had 2 great goalkeepers with Oliver Kahn against Lehmann. So I think that will always improve both of them. I also actually want to add that I think, for example, بیرانوند wasn't only at fault at the Lebanon game, also kind of, in my opinion, at fault for the goal against South Korea. So it was just kind of a development, slowly building up of kind of negative impact. So I think Skoč did the right thing just to also show that he in a way validates good performances, or also sees bad performances, to give Abedzadeh a fair chance. And I think it's good that we saw Abedzadeh also in a real strong competitive game, to see him how he performs, because friendlies or maybe last year's game, I think was against Cambodia, he played a still different level than actually in the final World Cup qualifier round. So I think it's good to him, give him some experience there, but also in a way بیرانوند might be in a bad form right now, but I think we still should give him one more chance, also kind of also the gratitude of the last years where he saved us many times. The thing is, if he starts the next game and he doesn't still performs well, stays in form, I think we'll stick with بیرانوند, because the goalkeeper position is not the position you change much. So once you decided, hey, I'm giving him my trust, then you have to stick with him, and obviously if you pays it back with good performance. But I think it's good that we have Amir as an option, and he proved himself as solid and is doing well in Spain. So I'm not concerned if he would play as well. But for me right now, it's still stick with بیرانوند.
And one thing that a lot of fans of Abedzadeh will be quick to talk about is that they like how Abedzadeh is actually better with his feet. They say he's kind of like a sweeper on the pitch, as opposed to Alireza بیرانوند with his, amazing ball throwing ability. I mean, what's your take on that, Navid?
No, I agree. That's definitely something Abedzadeh is definitely better than بیرانوند. It's just he's also very calm. He doesn't seem hectic. I feel that's definitely one of Amir's advantages. Also, you can see over the years he just improved. Is very calm on the ball, no stress, and just does it very very cool.
What can we say? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And we really do remember Ahmadreza Abedzadeh being very calm and collected whenever he played for Team Melli. And based on what we were just talking about, Kiaras, what's your take on Amir Abedzadeh being better with his feet?
Yes, I agree with Navid. It's because he has better fundamentals. I remember he came from the Tottenham Academy. So he learned his football in Europe, and that's one of the deciding factors why he's better with his feet. And the fact he's better makes his ball distribution pretty amazing. I'm very impressed with that. But to be honest, both بیرانوند and Abedzadeh have their main strengths. And I'm honestly safe with both going forward.
Some people say that Alireza بیرانوند continues to, have that support in the fact that he once stopped a penalty kick from Cristiano Ronaldo at the 2018 World Cup in Russia.
From my point of view, if it's my choice, I still am going with Alireza بیرانوند. I just have a hunch, I got that feeling about him that he's still that guy I want to be between the posts for Iran in a crucial World Cup qualifier. And of course, to all of you at home, who is your choice moving forward for the #1 keeper for Iran? Leave a comment down below. Always looking forward to getting your input. And that's it for this edition of Team Melli Talk. Guys, really do appreciate you taking the time to join us. It was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Art. I enjoyed being on the show again. And thank you, Navi, for your input too. It was nice discussing with you the stuff. And I'm looking forward to discussing Team Melli games in the future with you. Thank you all for having me on the show.
Yeah, had a very good time. I'm looking forward to being invited again.
And that's it, everybody, for this edition of Team Melli Talk. As always, really do appreciate the support. Make sure you get to our website, www.teammellitalk.com. Remember, this is your best source for the latest news on Team Melli, the national team of Iran. Make sure you find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You know the handle, @Team Melli Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that notification button. See you on the next edition of Team Melli Talk.